Can we do it like this? Accounting books. Textbooks. Difference. DTA or DTL. On day one, when we purchase this asset, we purchase it for 1 lakh. Tax authorities also said that, okay, you have purchased this 1 lakh. Now, what does this 1 lakh mean indirectly? If I have bought an asset for 1 lakh, what does it mean for a tax authority? How much of economic benefits will flow to the entity? How much of economic benefits will flow to the entity? How much of economic benefits will flow to the entity? If you're going to receive economic benefits of 1 lakh, you're going to earn revenue of 1 lakh by consuming this asset over a period of 5 years. How much of economic benefits will flow to the entity? Maybe more than 1 lakh. And if the tax rate is 30%, how much income the tax authorities are expecting if you use this asset for a period of 5 years? You are going to use this asset for a period of 5 years. You are going to earn an income of 1 lakh over a period of 5 years, because that's why you're charging depreciation, because you're consuming this asset and you'll be setting it off against the income generated. This expense you'll be matching with the revenue generated, and you're expecting at least revenue of more than 1 lakh. Even if I say you'll be earning equivalent revenue of 1 lakh, if the tax rate is 30%, how much income tax authorities are expecting from you if you consume this asset over a period of 5 years? Any idea? How much tax they are expecting? There is no difference between accounting and tax books on the date of purchase. No DTA, DTL on day one. But over the life of this asset, if the tax rate is 30%, they're expecting an income of 30,000 over a period of 5 years. Am I right? They're expecting that you will be paying tax of 30,000 over a period of 5 years if you consume this asset in the next 5 years. Agree or not? So at the end of year one, what is the value of your asset according to your accounting books? 20,000 depreciation, 80,000. According to textbooks, what is the value of asset? 50,000. How much difference? 30,000. Accounting books believe that we are going to earn 80,000. How much tax you are expecting to pay? If you believe that you are going to earn 100,000, how much tax you are expecting to pay? 30,000 over the life of this asset. Textbooks are also expecting 30,000 tax from you. But after year one, the scenario changes. You believe that you are going to earn 80,000 over the next 4 years. How much tax you are expecting to pay? If the tax rate is 30%, how much tax you are expecting to pay? Perfect, Akash, 24,000. How much tax the tax authorities believe you are going to pay? Because according to them, the asset value is now 50,000. How much tax the tax authorities are believing that you're going to pay? 15,000. Tax authorities are believing that you're going to pay 15,000 over the next 4 years, but you believe that you're going to pay 24,000 in the form of tax over the next 4 years. Will you be prepared for this difference? 24,000 minus 15,000. Difference of 9,000. What is it? This difference of 9,000, what is it? Akash, think again. Think through it. Don't give me an answer abruptly. Think through it. Please think through it. You believe that you are going to earn 80,000 over the next 4 years. You believe that you are going to pay tax of 24,000, but tax authorities believe that you are going to pay tax of only 15,000. You know that they are going to demand this difference in future. They are not saying that there is a tax of 15,000. You very clearly know that when you have to pay 24,000, you will have to pay 24,000 in future, no matter what they say today. This difference of 9,000 is a future liability. We'll record a DTL of 9,000. Now this was for explanation purpose. Like what I was trying to do, I was trying to explain you that when I record something as an asset, this much of income I'm going to generate, and which automatically indirectly means that I'm also going to pay tax of 30,000 over the life of this asset. Next year, when my expectation of income is 80,000, I'm expecting to pay tax of 24,000 over the next 4 years, and tax authorities believe that they're expecting to receive 15,000. The difference is 9,000, which we could do directly if you notice here. And can I make the rule here? Can I make the rule here? If carrying amount of an asset is higher than the tax base of an asset. What is tax base? Tax base is the carrying amount according to tax authorities. What is the tax base in this example? The tax base in this example in year 1 is 50,000. The carrying amount is 80,000. If carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to, can I make a rule here? It will give rise to DTL. Can I make a rule here? If carrying amount of an asset, if you noticed here, if carrying amount of an asset that is 80,000 is higher, means we believe we are going to pay more tax in future. If carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, we are believing that we are going to pay more taxes in future than what tax authorities believe. If carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to DTL. Rule number 1. Can I formulate the other rule? If carrying amount of an asset is lower than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to DTA. Let me do this and then we'll look at an example of DTA as well. But can we formulate these two rules? This is known as balance sheet approach. Directly looking at the balance sheet, we are able to calculate our DTA or DTL. This was P&L approach being used in India. This is the P&L approach. This is direct balance sheet approach as guided by IAS 12 income taxes, that we simply need to follow the rule that if carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, it should give rise to DTL. How to calculate that? Carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset by how much? 30,000. If the tax rate is 30%, we can directly calculate the DTA or DTL. 30% into 30,000, 9,000 DTL. 9,000 DTL. Year 2. Year 2, 60,000. Year 3, over a period of 5 years, this is going to be depreciated. Agree or not? Accounting books on date of purchase, it is same. But over a period of 5 years, it is going to be depreciated. At the end of year 2, textbook says 0. Year 3, 0. Year 4, 0. Year 5, 0. How much difference? 80,000 minus 50,000. How much difference? 60, 40, 20, 0. Carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base in all the years, will give rise to DTL. But how much DTL? 9,000. Second year, 18. Third year, reversal of DTL. 12, 6, 0. The DTL got built up over a period of 2 years. The DTL is nil at the end of final year. The DTL is 6,000 at the end of 4th year. This is known as balance sheet approach. Do you agree with it that if the carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to DTL? This is direct. If you notice, this we did through P&L approach. We got to know through P&L approach, through the differences, 9,000 DTL first year. Second year, 9,000 DTL, the built up to 18. Third year, reduction of DTL from 18 to 12. And reversal of DTL resulting in maintaining the tax expense of 54,000. 12, 6, 0. By using balance sheet approach, we can do it directly. This is known as balance sheet approach. By balance sheet approach, we simply need to look at the difference, apply the percentage to it, we'll get DTA or DTL. Now let's look at reverse of it. It could have happened that we are charging depreciation over a period of 5 years, but tax authorities would have said that we'll allow depreciation over a period of 8 years. Then what would have been the difference? We were charging depreciation over a period of 5 years. Textbooks say that we'll allow depreciation over a period of 8 years. So if depreciation over a period of 8 years, then this 100,000 would have been divided by 8. They would have allowed depreciation of 12,500. So 100,000 minus 12,500 is the difference at the end of year 1. 12,500 at the end of 8th year, it is depreciated to 0. Now what is higher in this case? Carrying amount of an asset is higher than the tax base or lower than the tax base? What do you see? Carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base or lower than tax base? Carrying amount of an asset is lower than the tax base. When carrying amount of an asset is lower than the tax base, this will give rise to DTA. In other words, you can say that we believe that we are going to pay tax of 24,000, but tax authorities are demanding more. How much more? 30% of 87,500. How much more? 26,250. We believe that we are going to pay tax of 24,000, but tax authorities are demanding 26,250. Extra today, that will be recorded as an asset into our books, which we do it in this manner. If carrying amount of an asset is lower than tax base of an asset, whatever is the difference, we apply the percentage and we get DTA. DTA reduces over a period of 8 years now. It gets built up and then reduces. How it gets built up? Year 2, carrying amount is again lower, year 3 lower, but after 5th year, if you notice, there's nothing to charge depreciation in our accounting books, but we continue to charge depreciation or allow depreciation in textbooks means less tax in future. How much less tax in future? We paid higher tax of 2250, 4500, 6700. The tax built up till 11,250, but it started reducing from 5th year. Whenever asset got reduced, we charge depreciation 20. They charge depreciation of 12,500 each year. It got built up till this date, till 5th year it got built up, and after 5th year it started reducing. The DTA balance, it got built up till year 5, and 6th year onwards, 6, 7, 8, and started reducing by the difference, 25,000, 12,500. So 30% of 12,500 started reducing, and it reduced down to 0. The DTA balance got settled at the end of 8th year. So have we been successful in the balance sheet approach? If the carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base, why it results in DTL? If carrying amount of an asset is lower than tax base, why it results in DTA? Hope the why is clear of balance sheet approach in both the methods. Hope this is clear. Hope this is clear to everyone. Any doubt? If you have any doubt, please ask. This is the recommended approach in IAS 12 income taxes. The balance sheet approach, we simply need to compare the carrying amount with the tax base of an asset. The difference, DTA or DTL. Is the asset part clear? So let me, what is the opposite of it? This is for the asset. This is for the asset. What could be opposite of it? This is for asset. What will be opposite of it for liability? If I have to write, if I have to change it for liability, what will be the opposite of it? If carrying amount of a liability is higher than tax base of a liability, it will give rise to opposite of what happened for asset, DTA. If carrying amount of a liability is lower than tax base of a liability, it will give rise to opposite of what we did for asset, DTL. We'll discuss this after the break. So for asset part, it is clear that when the carrying amount of an asset is higher than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to DTL. If carrying amount of an asset is lower than tax base of an asset, it will give rise to DTA, and you know the reasons as well now. So if I know one line, I can formulate the other formula for liability. That if carrying amount of a liability is higher than tax base of liability, it will give rise to opposite of what happened for asset. For asset, it was when carrying amount is higher than tax base, it gives rise to DTL. For liability, it will be opposite of what happened for asset. It will be resulting in DTA. If carrying amount of a liability is lower than tax base of a liability, it will give rise to DTL, because in case of asset, if carrying amount of an asset is lower than tax base of an asset, it gives rise to DTA, but for liability, it will be opposite of it. If we know one line, we can formulate the other four. But the only difference with carrying amount of liability and tax base of an asset and tax base of liability, there is slight difference. In case of assets, we are consuming that asset into the business, and we are going to generate revenue out of it. We are going to generate income out of it. This is recorded in the form of depreciation in the P&L in the form of expense. The revenue is being matched with the expense. But in case of liabilities, all the settlement of liabilities may not result in a corresponding entry in P&L. It may be directly happening in the balance sheet. Suppose there is interest expense, which is recorded in P&L, and there is interest payable, which is recorded in statement of financial position. When you recorded this interest expense, you recorded into your accounting books. but your textbooks did not allow it because they said that textbooks will allow it only when you make payment, or they say that allowed on cash basis. That's another term they use, allowed on cash basis. If they're going to allow it on cash basis, means that this interest expense which is recorded, suppose 10,000, balance sheet 10,000, is forming part of accounting books but is not forming part of textbooks as of today. Now there is a liability of interest payable in the balance sheet. Now we are talking about this liability. I'm not talking about P&L approach now, I'm talking about balance sheet approach. We directly look at the items of balance sheet and try to know how much is DTA or DTL. So the balance sheet item in this case is interest payable. When you make the interest payment, the carrying amount of the liability is 10,000. What is the tax base of liability? What is tax base of liability? And before asking the tax base of liability, I should explain what is tax base of liability. Tax base of liability is equal to carrying amount as per accounting books less any amount available for deduction in future. But when you settle this liability of interest payable, will this payment of 10,000, will it be available for deduction in future from your income? Will it be available? What do you say? Will this 10,000 be available in future? That if you make the payment of 10,000 in future, will this be available in future for deduction from your income? Yes, it will be available. So tax base of liability in interest payable will be 10,000 minus amount available for deduction in future 10,000. The tax base of liability will be nil, 0. If apply the formula, if carrying amount of a liability is higher than tax base of a liability, in this case, carrying amount of a liability is 10,000, is higher than tax base of liability is 0, it will give result to DTA because they did not allow us deduction. We recorded an interest expense of 10,000, but tax authorities did not allow this deduction. They charged us higher tax today. Since they charged us higher tax today, we recorded a DTA in our books, but this will be available for deduction. So there is a hope. This is not permanent difference. This is a temporary difference. There's a hope that we can record it as a DTA into our books. And if I use balance sheet approach, I'll say carrying amount of a liability is higher than tax base of liability. The difference is 10,000. I can record a DTA of 3,000 if the tax rate is 30%. So tax base of liability is, you need to read this carefully, tax base of liability is carrying amount less any amount available for deduction in future. Now instead of it, if I say there is a loan payable of 50,000 as part of your statement of financial position, when you pay this loan, will it be available for deduction in future? On repayment of loan, will it be available for deduction from your income in future as a deductible item? Will it be available for deduction in future? If you have a loan payable in your balance sheet at 50,000 in your accounting books, will it be available for deduction in future? Tax base of this loan payable, tax base of loan payable, how much will it be? Equal to carrying amount 50,000 less any amount available for deduction in future. Do you think there will be any amount available for deduction in future when you repay the loan? Hello? When you repay the loan, will there be any amount available for deduction in future? This is not a P&L item. This is a balance sheet item. If you repay the loan, it gets adjusted in the balance sheet. This will have no impact in the income statement. And if this happens, I think we'll be very happy that whenever we repay loan, if we can set off this entire amount from our incomes and can we reduce our taxes, that will be a big game changer for the corporate industry. Not allowed. Less any amount available for deduction in future, no, zero. So tax base of this liability is 50,000. Carrying amount of this liability is 50,000. Tax base of this liability is 50,000. So no tax consequences. No tax consequences means no DTA or DTL. Did you get this? Did you get the definition of tax base of liability? Because since we are not earning now, we are settling now, and will that settlement will result in deduction in P&L from our income, or will this not result in deduction when we are computing the income tax? If this results in a reduction, well and good. If this doesn't result in a reduction, then the tax base of a liability will be equivalent to carrying amount of liability and will result in no DTA or DTL. Did everyone get this? So this is the only confusion in taxes, that the treatment for assets is slightly different from liability. Akash, Birpal, Hema, Uday, Pankaj, Sapna. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So I repeat it. Hope the asset part is clear. Liability is opposite of it, as I said. Liability is opposite of it. And for liability, if you use the balance sheet approach, we need to compare the carrying amount of liability with the tax base of liability. Tax base of liability definition is different than what we discussed in asset. Tax base of liability definition is different because in case of assets, we are earning income and we are matching it with the revenue. But in case of liability, we are settling it directly in the balance sheet. Only some items we settle it through income statement. Interest payable is being settled through income statement. So there is a chance of deduction. But loan, when we settle, we do not route it through P&L. So there is no chance of being allowed as a deduction when the income tax authorities are computing our income tax. So tax base of liability says that is the carrying amount available for deduction in future? So whatever is the carrying amount recorded in our balance sheet, how much of this is available for deduction? If the entire amount is available for deduction in future, like 10,000 was available for deduction in future, that when we settle it, when we make the payment in cash, we'll be able to claim deduction of this 10,000 interest expense from the computation of tax. If we will be able to avail this, then tax base of liability is nil. Carrying amount less any amount available for deduction in future, 10,000 minus 10,000, tax base of liability is, tax base of liability interest payable is nil. But instead of it, if you have a loan payable as your liability in the form of carrying amount in your accounting books, and you wish to know the tax base of this loan payable, tax base of this loan payable is that on repayment of loan, there will not be any deduction from our income when we are computing tax, because this is not a deductible expense from our income when we repay the loan, when we repay any capital loan. So tax base of loan payable will be 50,000 less zero amount available for deduction. So tax base of liability turns out to be the same as carrying amount of liability, resulting in no tax consequences. That when you repay this loan, this will not result in any DTA or DTL in future, no tax consequence of it. Birpal, is this clear now?
Yes, sir, it's clear.